Alright, you know the drill. EA just dropped a blog that explains what every single perk in the game does and the flow state boost to it. So I'm not gonna read this. We know what flow state is at this point. We're just gonna go down to the chart. Alright. There's a bunch of these, so video's probably gonna be long. And at the bottom, they also have some examples of who has what. I'm gonna read that at the end. Alright. Starting off, Anvil. Easier denials from top positions, hitting the opponent twice within a short time in the ground and pound and posture positions. So this is what you need to do to build up your flow meter. I'm not going to read it for all of them, but if you want to read it yourself, this is what this section is. And what is the flow state boost? Improves ground and pound duration, power, and stamina cost. Yeah, this is if you're just mashing your opponent. People that could have this are potentially Mark Coleman, maybe Habib, but it's pretty simple. And I actually like it because ground and pound in this game, it's pretty. I don't want to cuss, but it's pretty bad outside of top mount. Next is bone saw. Elbows and knees are oh no. Elbows and knees are more powerful and accurate in the stand up. Increases damage and cut swelling. Bro, this one's gonna be bad. Okay, so we already know someone like John Jones is probably gonna have this, Matt Brown, whatever. And it's gonna be a cheeser's dream. If you played UFC 4, even if you played UFC 5, you know how bad knees and elbows are. And even if you combine them, it gets even worse. So yeah, that's gonna be a cheeser perk. I just hope they don't bust it too much. I hope they don't make it too OP. Next one's Bulwark. What does that mean? Stronger block when moving sideways or backwards. Okay. Instantly fills the block meter and reduces block damage, body damage, and leg damage. Okay, I like this one. It's a defensive one. If you're kind of getting cooked against the fence, maybe you're getting block broken, you're in a health event, you just pop this and you take less damage. Yeah, this is pretty good. As long as they don't. The thing is with these flow state perks, if they don't cook the numbers by like 100%, 200%, then it's fine. Like if you played the beta and you saw like Robert Whitaker's flow state perk, it was balanced. Like your body kicks would do more damage when you activated it, but it wasn't dropping you with each one. It wasn't causing a health event with each one. It just did a lot more damage. But then again, you had Alex's, which I don't even want to get into that. We'll probably read it in a second. Next is checkmate, stronger submission offense. Okay. Speed up submission attacks, increases submission meter drain, and applies harsher pen. Okay. Yeah, this is a pure grappler one. Someone like, Hoist Gracie, Oliveira, whatever, they'll probably have this one. Probably Brian Ortega, something like that. Electric Eel. Better takedown defense and clinch escapes. Okay. Improves takedown defense and increases the power of stand-up and clinch strikes. Okay, from what I see is every single flow state perk also has a counter to it. What I'm understanding so far, it's that. Because I know there's some that increases your takedown offense, and then there's this one that improves your takedown defense. So as long as you have the right matchup, maybe they won't be too busted. And who could have this one? I'm trying to think. Probably Aldo. Yeah. Yeah, it just has to be Aldo. This is like written for him. Escapist, stronger submission defense from top positions. Okay. Speed up transitions from all top guard positions and as a defender in submissions. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty simple. I'm trying to think of who could have that. Probably Volkanovski, maybe Islam. He's super sound when he's on top. Next is Feather Step. Better footwork when retreating. Okay, I think MVP had this. Yeah. Strikes deal more damage from long range. Okay, again, we played some of these in the beta, and they weren't busted. Feather Step was pretty balanced. I mean, most of the time you wouldn't even notice it. There was, however, one use for it. You could counter Alex with this. So if you were MVP and you're at range, and then Alex uses his flow state, you immediately use yours, and as soon as you see his animation start, you pop it straight. That was how you would counter it. And yeah, then again, that goes back into like I don't know, flow states countering flow states and whatever, picking the right matchup. But this one was balanced. It wasn't bad at all. Grizzly, clinch and takedown. Okay. What's the boost? Lower stamina cost for takedowns and clinch actions while increasing the opponent's cost. Oh no. See, they're just handing out perks to cheesers at this point. Like, I get it, you want to make the game simulation based and, be realistic about it, but Nobody's using this perk other than a cheeser. Anyways, probably John Jones is gonna have something like this. Ben Askren if he's still in the game. Let's go to the next one. Groundskeeper, ground game action spend less stamina. That one's vague. Significantly decreases the stamina cost of ground game actions and ground and pound. Okay, hold on. Let me scroll back up. Improves ground and pound duration, power, and okay, so some of these overlap. And the bottom one sounds a lot better than this one at the top because it overall, like the whole entire ground game, you have better stamina recovery and less, deduction or whatever. So if there's one that only focuses on ground and pound or submissions, it just won't be as good as one that covers everything. So I don't know. We'll have to think about that later. All right, where to go anyways? There we go, found it. Yeah, this one, yeah, probably Habib, someone like that's gonna have this. Why does that keep happening? Maybe Benil Dariush, maybe Gamera, someone like that could have it as well. Hot blooded. Spell. Okay, I like this one. Stand up strike spend less stamina in round 1 and 2. This is a Rumble Johnson perk. Let me read it. Stand up strikes cost, yeah, that's it. It's super simple. This is pretty much the out the gates perk from UFC 4 and 5, but boosted up. You already know Rumble Johnson's gonna have this perk and he's gonna be crazy with it. I would, however, like for this perk to maybe have a con to it where it cooks your long-term stamina in round 3 and round 4. Because if you can just go 8 mode in round 1 and 2, and then be fine in round 3, I don't know, that's a little weird. Anyways, Hunter. Better footwork when advancing or moving sideways. Okay. Improves advancing footwork and increases damage when the opponent is against the fence. Okay, this one isn't bad. It's just if you're a stalker, if you're someone that constantly pushes forward, you'll like this. I'm trying to think of who could have this perk. Maybe Taporia? Taporia's constantly moving forward, trapping people against the fence. Who else? I don't know. Joshua Van or something. Because he was pushing Tyra back a lot in their fight. Kraken. Who had this? Who had this? I think Hamza had this in the beta. Yeah, yeah. Enhances all takedowns and slows the opponent's stamina recovery when you have top position. Okay. The description of this doesn't mention something. When we were playing as Hamza in the beta, and I didn't use him a lot, only like 2 or 3 games, because, the striking system got revamped. Who's trying to grapple? But when I did use him, and he used his Flowstate perk, your double legs, they instantly turn into spears. So unless the opponent's pre-denying, they couldn't get it. So it doesn't mention that. Also, the slam damage on takedowns got boosted by 1,000,000 when you activated this flow state. So if you well, not double, if you single leg someone and you went for a slam, their body health would go down to 0 immediately. And if you judo toss someone, you have a good chance to get a slam KO. So this one definitely needs a bit of balancing and it should probably be a bit more specific in the description. All right, what else? Lancer, frontal kicks, including frontal. Okay, this is like the frontal assault perk on 4 and 5. Just front kicks, side kicks, everything like that. I mean, yeah, self-explanatory. Anderson Silva, Leota Machida, maybe Oliveira. They could all have this perk pretty easily. I like this one though. It's pretty simple. Last stance, stronger submission defense from top positions. Okay. Increase stamina recovery on the ground and regenerates the submission meter and reduces damage to it. Who could have this? Yeah, Volkanovski. Yeah, this is I'm 90% sure they made this perk for Volk when he fought Ortega. Yeah, he's gonna have this perk 1,000,000%. Well, that's pretty good. Lake Water reduces incoming damage when performing stationary or advancing sways. Okay. Increase the damage of attacks landed after a sway even if they are not counters. I mean, this is an Anderson Silva perk. Maybe I know I've said Taporia like 12 times already, but could be for him. Who else? Who else? I think Rampage Jackson could also have this. That guy would charge forward, just slipping left and right. Yeah, uh, yeah, that's it. Perpetual. Stand-up strikes spend less stamina in rounds 3 to 5. Okay. Increases stamina recovery in the stand-up for 16 seconds. This is the high altitude perk from 4 and 5, just made a lot better. Trying to think of who could have it. I mean, I want to say Max Holloway, but he has his own unique one, so we know it's not him. But whatever, if you have a shit ton of cardio, like Colby Covington, if he's even in the game, actually no, but this one's about strikes. Yeah, I don't know, probably the Diaz brothers, specifically Nate. Phoenix, faster recovery from stuns. Yep. Increases health and stamina recovery in the stand-up and greatly reduces stun duration. Yeah, I mean, if you're getting cooked, if you're in a health event, you're getting fried, you need to survive, you pop this. This one's pretty good though. Yeah, as long as they don't bust up the numbers, maybe I've said this already, I don't even remember. As long as they don't tune these numbers by 200%, 300%, it's fine. Keep it down to, I don't know, 20, 25%, something like that. Even that might be too much for some. You'll have to specifically tune them. But as long as you don't become completely, made out of metal when you're stunned, that one's fine. Point down, yeah, this one's the Holloway one. Punches from sways are more powerful. Improves advancing footwork, power, and stamina efficiency. The opponent can taunt back to gain a portion of the same benefits. Okay. This is like the if any of you guys played UFC 3, I'm not sure if it was an online, maybe it's offline only thing. But if you played 3 and in the last 10 seconds you pointed down with Holloway, you would basically get this. But it would help both people out. You would get more power, less stamina cost, and if you walked backward, you would be a lot slower. So it forced people to go forward and trade. But yeah, that one's pretty nice. This one's my favorite so far, for sure. What else? Quicksand, easier denials from bottom. Okay. Faster grappling actions from bottom positions or advanced top positions for 16 seconds. Yeah, just typical BJJ perk, I mean, so many people could have this. Chrome Gracie, if he's even in the game, hopefully not. Brian Hall, whatever. Reaper, okay. This is what Whitaker had. Round kicks, meaning horizontal kicks that do not spin, are more powerful and accurate. Oh shit. Round kicks are okay. Yeah. Whitaker had this in the beta. I think this was the most balanced thing we saw in the beta. It wasn't like each roundhouse kick would stun you. Wasn't not even close if I'm being honest, but it would do a lot more damage. Like maybe 15% more damage, and it was visible. But again, it wasn't broken. This is a perfect example of what every flow state perk needs to be. So I'm completely fine with this. I don't know who could have this. Edson Barboza could probably have it. Robert Whitaker has it. Yeah, that's pretty good. Visiev could also have this. Revenant. Recover more health event. Recover more health between rounds. Greatly accelerates health recovery. This is a Bisping type of perk. Yeah, I think I'm 90% sure Bisping will have this. I'm trying to remember what the perk was called on 4 and 5. Nah, I don't remember. But anyways, you'll just be better when you come back from rounds. Shackles. Better clinch control, clinch strikes, and takedowns from dominant positions. Okay. I want to read the description before I get crazy about this. Improves clinch control, clinch striking, and bails from takedown to clinch. No! EA, what are we doing? Ah, this one's gonna be. I know I've called a couple of them cheeser perks, but this one specifically will be a cheeser perk. I mean, Marab might have this, Aljo might have this, but I don't want to spend time on that. It's just gonna be a cheeser one for sure. Spectre reduces reduced incoming damage while swaying when walking backwards or sideways. Yeah, this is a Dom Cruz perk. I'm a million percent I'm sure he's gonna have this. Let's just read it to make sure. Sways and lunges cost less stamina and further reduce incoming damage. Okay, yeah, we know this is a Dom Cruz perk, but what I'm worried about is on 5, there was a big problem where you could literally just slip away from strikes. Let's say the opponent threw a rear hook and you slipped to his lead hand. The game, for whatever reason, would reduce the damage you would take by like maybe 50% when doing that. And they were trying to, I guess, simulate rolling with punches, but I don't know. It just wasn't done properly and it was broken as hell and people abused it. I'm a little concerned it might be like that with this perk, but I don't know. I'm hopeful for it because I like it. It's specifically made for crews. Spin drift. Spinning kicks are more powerful and accurate. Yeah, I mean, this is a Adson Barboza perk. Let's just read it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, simple. Barbosa's gonna have it. Probably won't be busted because it's, situational. You need to be at the proper range. Can't really combo it. Yeah, that's a good perk. Spring loaded, better get-ups. Okay. Improves get-ups, muscle modified transitions, and the ability to cause health events. Okay. Yeah, this is Aldo. I think I mentioned them a couple times earlier, but this is a million percent Aldo. When we get into these later ones, it looks like they're specifically making them for certain fighters. And this one's it's got Aldo written all over it. Stinger, straight punches are more powerful and accurate. Okay. Straight punches deal more damage and are better at causing health events. Yeah, I mean, that's simple. The people that could have this are, Connor, maybe Usman. That's simple. I like that one. Even MVP could have this one if they, for whatever reason, decide to change it later on. Tank, stronger block when standing or advancing. All stand-up strikes deal more damage for a short time after blocking, even when used as counter, or even when not used as counters. Maybe this could be Rampage. I don't know. If you watch Rampage Jackson highlights, you'll see so many of his KOs are like just blocking and launching a hook. So this one's probably gonna be him. I think Drakus may have had this on the beta. It was either this or something very similar, but I don't mind this pick. It doesn't sound too bad. Tiger, okay. This is the busted one. This is the one everyone was complaining about on the beta, but we'll read it regardless. Curved punches deal more damage and are better at causing health events. Okay, when you read this, immediately it doesn't sound too bad. And I'm gonna be honest, it's not until you start throwing body shots. When Alex had this on the beta and he was, when people were throwing headshots with him at like the first hour of the beta, like sure it was annoying. It was I won't say it was busted, but it was pretty good. And then someone, I don't know, people discovered that if you just throw two hooks to the body, the fight's over. The first one might cause a stun, not a stun, a hit reaction, and it won't let you block the second one. So then the second one lands and it stuns you or drops you and whatever. And then you just keep going high low. But yeah, this one needs tuning. If it were up to me, I would just make it curved punch deal to the head. That's it. Don't do it to the body because it makes the mix ups too good. Who could have this other than Alex? Taporia, like my 12th time mentioning him. But yeah, he could have that as well. Titan. More resistant to stuns when you have more health than the opponent. Okay, this is Force of Nature from 4 and 5, just revamped. Deal more damage shortly after being hit or when either fighter is in a health event. Okay, come on. This is the one Drake has had. Drake has had this on the beta, and I think it was the second best one on the beta. And it was when Drake has popped this, you didn't want to be hitting him. Even if you hit him on his block and you were far away, his next strike would do so much more. I do think it needs a little bit of tuning, maybe decrease the damage by 5 or 10%, but other than that, yeah, it's a Drakus perk. uh, I'm not a big fan of it. Unbreakable, more resistant to stuns when you have less health than the opponent. Okay, this is the exact opposite of this. It's basically carved of wood from 4 and 5 revamped. Okay, that's it. Just reduces incoming damage. But I swear we saw this earlier. Let me scroll up. We saw something basically like this earlier. Let me find it. Let me find it. Where is it? I swear we had something like this. Okay, instant. Okay, yeah. They're similar. Not the exact same, but similar, I guess. But those are, yeah, those are all the perks. That's what every single one does. I'm gonna read this chart now at the bottom. Just give some examples of who has what and all that stuff. It actually explains every single perk they have. That's gonna be interesting. Okay, Pereira. We know this. If you, well, I'll just read it out for the people that didn't, play the beta. Tiger, it's the one that increases the power of curved punches. We just talked about it. Busted needs fixing. Reaper increases the damage for round kicks. Like water. What was that? I think it was about slips coming forward. Bulwark is about blocking when you're moving backwards. And Phoenix is about stuns. Nothing here is really busted except for this. This needs fixing. Who else? Holloway, point down, of course. Stinger, last stand. Unbreakable, and perpetual. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember what these were. But point down, perfect. Stinger, perfect. Conor McGregor, welterweight. That's interesting. That's they said welterweight. I don't know if they're trying to imply that maybe his lightweight or featherweight will have a different flow state, but we'll see. Stinger, yeah, predicted this. It was pretty easy. Your punches just do more damage at a long range. Or maybe it was the straight one. Yeah, it was the straight one. Your straights do a lot more damage. Lancer, spin drift, spinning kicks like water slips, feather step when moving backward. Yeah, this is pretty accurate. Okay, Joshua Van Hunter. Uh, what was Hunter? What was Hunter? I think it was something about moving forward and doing more damage against the fence, but yeah, that's pretty accurate. Stinger for straight punches. Tank, because yeah, he's a tank. He took a lot from Tyra in that first round, and then he came back. Unbreakable and hot blooded. I don't remember what these were, but they sound pretty good. Peter Yan, okay. Flow State Perk Tank. Okay, that makes sense because he has one of the best guards in the game. Tank, you just take less damage. I'm pretty sure that's it. Stinger, Hunter, Bulwark, Electric Eel. Okay, he has this one as well. He's going to be a good anti-cheese pick. That's pretty good. Alexander Volkanovski, Last Stand. Yeah, this one was pretty obvious. It's the one that makes you take less damage when you're about to be submitted or something like that. But yeah, that perk was specifically made for him. It's pretty simple. Anvil, Reaper, Feather Step, Perpetual. Yep. Machev Checkmate. What was Checkmate? Let me check. What was Checkmate? Checkmate, checkmate. Stronger submission offense. Speeds up submission attacks. Increases. Okay, yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Guy's been submitting everyone. Kraken, Escapist, Tiger. Tiger, interesting. And Reaper. Okay. Yeah, but Makachev's gonna be a balanced pick. Not balanced like as in he won't be broken, but he can do it all. He can kick, can punch, can grapple, submit, whatever. Strickland, Bulwark. Okay, this is about blocking when you're backed up or something like that. But yeah, that makes sense. Stinger, Lancer, Tank. I'm gonna be a little worried about this because we know he's gonna have the Philly shell. And on the beta, the Philly shell was low-key hard to pierce because it would block the body and the head at the same time. And it was just, I think it was the best blocking style on the beta by far. And Strickland with it, with the Philly shell and this perk, oh, I don't know. Anyways, Carlos Ulberg Feather Step. Okay. I really thought they would give, well, I would think they would give Ulberg Tiger, but Feather Step. That increases your footwork when you're walking backwards, and it makes strikes do more damage from range. I don't know about this one. I don't know. Because you don't really see Ulberg. I guess you do, but you see his left hook when he's close up, so I don't know about this perk again. The rest looks pretty good. If it were up to me, I would replace Tiger and Feather Step. Tom Aspinall, Stinger, yep. Definition of Stinger. His 1-2s are going to be a lot better. Straight punches, whatever. Reaper for round punches. Bonesaw for his elbows and knees. This guy, I think single-handedly, is what is keeping EA away from nuking the knee elbow combo. Because this guy, he actually has a KO with it. I think he KO'd, I think it was Marcin and Tybura. Yeah, he just threw an elbow, threw a knee, whatever. And yeah, I think that's the sole reason the knee elbow is still in the game. Anyways, Hunter when backing people up, and Feather Step when backing up. Yeah, these are accurate. If it were up to me, I would change Ulberg's, but that's it.